student.
Hello.
If we may please just switch off our phones to focus to do our winter school. Welcome to our winter school. Today we'll be talking about programming, logic and design that we will employ into business application subject. 5 concepts will be developed within this subject. The first one will be talking about problem solving. That will be the point 1. Point 2 will be about input, processing logic, and outputs. Point 3 we'll discuss about pseudocodes. Can you see everything clearly there? Yeah. And point 4 we'll try to talk about how we can generate an algorithm using diagrams. And in point 5 we will talk about application, how we can apply algorithm into codes. So we will start first of all to understand problem solving as a point 1. First of all, what is a problem? By definition, a problem is not only necessarily to be as a problem. It's any statement. Anything that you can write down, but you're looking for a solution to it. That is a problem. A problem can be your idea, your business concept, your plan, anything that you want to do. It's a problem. Why? For a simple reason that you want to find a solution to it. Correct? How to solve that problem? This is where we are right now. There's a point number 1. To solve the problem, normally we ask a maximum of 6 questions, a minimum of 5 questions. We ask, what is the problem? When a question starts with what, that means you want to identify something. What is for identification? So you want to identify something. The second one is how. When you ask a question with how, you want to understand. Understanding, that means you need to comprehend something. How is it a problem? After identifying that problem. Now, here we are not into research. We are 100% into business application concept about logic. In terms of business application subject, how do we understand the problem? The first thing is you must read carefully the statements for your problem. After reading carefully, you need also to highlight all the key points. What are these key points? Your key points in business applications, we have input key points, processing logic key points, and output key points. That could be the first step to solve a problem in business application. This is what we'll be doing. That means within this subject, we'll come up with a problem. And then we will solve the problem by starting with inputs, processing logic, and output. It means we have to identify all the input within that problem. We have to identify all the processings in that problem. We have to identify all the outputs within the problem. That's a point 1 to solve a problem within business application logic. Now, we have here a first problem, example 1. The problem says this. The fresh grocery store sells apples at 85 cents each. oranges at 65 cents each, and bananas at 90 cents each. Steven has 15 rand and wants to buy 10 apples and 5 oranges. Calculate the amount due. That is a problem. Okay? You've been given a problem that you have to solve. As a step one, you have to read carefully. After reading it, we do several ways in order to solve the problem. We read it minimum times 3, maximum 6 times. Now, you have to identify all the key points and take away unnecessary things. Correct? What we do here, if you read problem solving 1, I said to be able to calculate the amount due, Steven only needs to know the following. The first point is how many apples and how many oranges to buy. Point 2, what their prices. You may see in that statement, Steven needs only 2 things. The rest, Steven is not interested in. So these are the key points you have to identify. And now once you identify those key points, you have to reformulate your problem again. Then to put it in a way that you don't understand it yourself in order to solve it. Now, we went there as Steven wants only 10 apples and oranges. So I just struck out bananas because I don't need bananas. I take them out. And then I just skip what is in red that I said the fresh grocery store sells apples at 85 cents each, oranges at 60 cents each. Steven wants to buy 10 apples and 5 oranges. Calculate the amount due. So I picked up what is important and what Steven has to do and what is required within the problem. Anything that does not make sense, anything that Steven doesn't want, I'm not going to take it. Okay? So after figure out all the input, processing, and output within this, I have to write my problem statement. So with that, you will start developing and solving your problem. Let's go to point number 1. The point number 1 to solve the problem, we say that is the input processing. I copy and paste the statements that I've reformulated. What could be the different inputs within this statement? First of all, let me clarify what is an input. We have few keywords in input. Input means entering something from the keyboard. What are the keywords of input? Input can be either enter or set. You can use either input or you can use enter or set. Once you found this keyword, it means you are talking about input. You want to enter 65 rand or 85 cents, which is the price for apples. You want to enter 85 rand, which is the price, 65 rand, which is the price for orange. You want to enter the quantity that Steven wants about apples and the quantity of oranges. Everything that you'll be entering or you'll be setting up at the input. What are the processes? In order to identify a process, we have different keywords for a process. A process comes up with keywords such as calculate, comes up with the keywords such as if statement, or however. or determine. These are the keywords for processing. That processing means you are either calculating something, you are trying to put something together in order to come up with a solution. The keywords used in processing are calculate, if statement, however, and determine. Now, output is just the keyword used in output are such as solving or solution or display. I will repeat again. In order to identify all the inputs, we have to identify with such keywords such as inputs, enter, or set. Processing, we identify processes by using the keywords such as calculate, if statement, however, determine, also using loops, while loop, or for loop are part of the processing. So the output keyword we have such as solving, display, or found a solution. Okay? Now let's go back to our statement that has been reformulated. The statement says that Stephen must input the price of apple, which is 85 cents, price of one orange, which is assigned to 65 cents, quantity of apples that Stephen wants, which is assigned to 10, quantity of oranges that Stephen wants, which is assigned to 5. These are the inputs. Any questions about input? Perfect. Now we move to processes. The process, we've identified already all the keywords. Now, what you'll be doing here, the process here is about, the first process says calculate the amount due. So, multiply the number of apples by the price of one apple. We know that we have 10 apples that Stephen wants. How much costs one apple? An apple costs 65 cents. Now, what we're doing is we'll take 10 apples, multiply by the number of, or multiply by the price. And then you come up with the price for 10 apples. The same applies as well for oranges. Stephen wants 5 oranges. And now in those 5 oranges, the price of orange is 65. The process of it will be 5 times the price of oranges is 65 cents, and you come up with the price of it. As we're still looking for the amount due, what we'll be doing is we will add the total amount of apples, the total amount of 10 apples, with the total amount of 5 oranges, and then convert that into rand, because remember we said that Stephen has only 15 rand. This is a big problem with students. We've been seeing that in your exam. You do not know how to calculate things, particularly in IT. You are doing accounting, you have to know that computer system or computer science involves mathematics, accounting, and you have to know that it opens your brain to think out of the box. You have to be, I found many answers, numbers wrong. So you have to be calculating, coming up with accurate and correct answer, okay? So now, I'm still in processes because it says you have to calculate the amount due. To come with the amount due, I took the 10 apples times 85 cents. It gives you 825, something like that. And 5 apples times 65. Now to convert them, this is sign, you take the total amount is 11.75 cents over 100. It will give you 11.75, which is 11 rand 75 cents. You can also try it and use it. Now the output will be that amount. In output column, you must put only the output. The processing column, you must put only things related to processes. The input column, you must put only things related to input. You don't confuse or measure them. If you take things from input, you put in processing and output, you have zero correctly, immediately. So because the input, processing and output is your step one for solving the problem. Is that correct? Now, this input and output will lead you to something called pseudocode. You may see that was said, the subject is about programming, logic, and design. So we are going step by step. One step leads you to another one. Another step leads you to another one. How to do a pseudocode? This is what we'll be discussing right now. So the input, processing, and output opens the door for you to create a pseudocode. First of all, before talking about pseudocode, I would like to ask if you have any questions related to input, processing, and output. Perfect. Let's move to pseudocode. Okay. Before everything, we have first to understand what is a pseudocode. A pseudocode, as it has been defined, is just a plain text that you write in English. But that plain text must make sense, must not be confusing you. Do you get it? The text that you write in English, however, you can write a pseudocode in your mother language, whatever, but must make sense. You know that that pseudocode is coming from your input, processing, and output. Are you getting that? So your pseudocode must start with entering, calculating, and solving. All those three steps for input, output, processing. Is that correct? Now, we will come here, we'll be talking about pseudocode, which is a plain text that is written in English, and that plain text gives you certain sequences that you have to follow, gives you a logic, and that logic goes step by step. You're not going to skip anything, and that logic generated from your point one, which is input, processing, and output. Is that correct? Now, let's come here. Let us try to create a pseudocode. First of all, you write down your statement. That means you write down the statement that you're going to do a pseudocode. Point one. When you do a pseudocode, you must come up with a title of that pseudocode. What could be the title of that problem that you see? Can someone give me a title of it? Point one of a pseudocode. You must come up with a title. What could be the title there? Come again? Correct. He said fresh groceries. Okay? When you come up with a title ends up with a column. During your test or exam, if you don't give a column, you have zero there. Because always the title weighs 3 marks. Are you getting that? And then you say title, fresh groceries, and there's a column. That's rule number one. Rule number two, a pseudocode starts with a keyword start or begin, and end up with a keyword and or stop. The first keyword of pseudocode is start or begin. The last keyword is end or stop. Now, how to do the pseudocode? My pseudocode will be inside of these two keywords. They are not going to be at the beginning. Remember, we are using Python. Okay? Certain languages are using curly brackets, but within Python we are using indentation. If you don't follow that, your program is not going to run. However, the pseudocode you are not going to it's not going to use any programming language or code, but we want to comply with the rules of Python. Your pseudocode must start in the middle or at the end of the last keyword. I check start is ending there, end is ending there, then I will start my keyword, my pseudocode there. Now, what could be the first one? The first one said set the price Apple to 85 cents. I can say this, enter, okay. Remember, we've given 3 keywords for inputs, that's correct? You can use either input or set or enter, okay? You don't have to memorize things, okay? You don't have to memorize. Instead of saying set the price per apple assigned to 85, you can say enter the price per apple assigned. This is an assignment. It's not equal. This sign is called as an assignment. It means enter the price per apple. Okay? That is assigned to 85 cents. Or you can say set the price per apple assigned to 85 cents. Or input the price of apple that is assigned to 85 cents. Correct? The second one is enter the price per apple that is assigned to, okay, just to avoid any confusion. If you start with entering, make sure that all your input will be with entering. If you do inputs, all your input must be the same keyword, not input, set, and all the confusing things. You must stick to one, okay? As I stick to set until the end, here I'm using enter, I will be using enter until the end of input. Is that clear? Now, enter the price per orange that is assigned to 65 cents, that's correct? The third one is enter the number of apples assigned to what? That's assigned to what? To 10. Another one is enter the number of oranges that is assigned to 5. Okay? I have all my inputs. Can you see that these inputs are coming from the input processing and output? That's correct? Now, I'll be moving into my processing. Processing says that the keyword was calculate. What are we going to calculate? We said calculate the total apple cost. You do calculate total cost, calculate total of orange. It means when you are calculating, you are taking the price of one apple times it's I don't know, 65 or 85. You calculate also the price per orange. You take that one orange times 65, and then you calculate also the amount due of by adding the price of apples and the price of oranges together. And then the last one is display. That will be the output that we'll be doing. You may see that I have all the keywords within my pseudocode. Enter, enter, calculate, display. At the end of my pseudocode, I have to put there's an and or stop. We'll be doing more advanced, where you will see we'll be applying if condition and all those things. We'll be doing that, you see yourself. Any questions? Yes.
If I calculate, do we add numbers or do we stick to the words?
Calculate what?
They say calculate price, multiply by number.
No, that's your pseudocode. You stick to the word. You're calculating the words. Yes. No, you're just calculating the things. It gives you an idea what to calculate. But the pseudocode gives you a way to do a chance to do your algorithm and to do the code. Okay. When you be calculating yourself, you'll be adding the numbers. You'll be entering those formulas in your code. We'll see later on. We'll be calculating that. But with pseudocode, it gives you your plan that you have. It's a plan that has been given based on the logic. What you'll be entering, what you'll be calculating, and what you'll be displaying. Questions in terms of pseudocode? Yes, sir.
Capital letters important, like say calculators play.
No, they're not important. So it's up to you. You can start with low cases from beginner to the end. What I want is you to do good logic, okay? You start with uppercase and just be consistent, okay? If you want to do lowercase, do everything lowercase. You want to do uppercase, do that way. Just be consistent. That's why it says programming, logic, and design. You have to design something that is beautiful yourself. You see it, say, it looks good. You get that? So not doing something that is not looking good at all. Any question in terms of pseudocode?
Just one
Yes.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
What happens if we press enter and then there's a syntax error at the end? How do we fix that?
Yes, that is in programming. We'll be going pseudocode here. Doesn't take any programming language. It's just in English. We stick only on English with pseudocode. When we will be to the coding, you ask me the question, then I'll show you. I will discuss about that just to avoid any confusion. Let us stick first to pseudocode, which is only English word, which is used in logic, step by step. Okay? Because your pseudocode will lead you to algorithm. Can you see how we're moving? Your pseudocode will lead you to algorithm. First, we start with your problem, understanding your problem, and how to solve it. We solved the problem by using a table called input, processing, output. From our table of input, processing, output, we've designed our pseudocode. We say that pseudocode is written, it's a plain text that is written in English. That plain text must make sense, must be written based on the logic, because your pseudocode will lead you to algorithm. That's the next point we'll be discussing right now. Any questions? Any question in terms of pseudocode? Just to refresh your mind, we say that with a pseudocode, the first thing is you come up with a title. And the title, at the end of your title, must have a column. Secondly, a pseudocode starts with the keyword start and end up with the keyword end or stop. That's correct? And then, third step is you put your pseudocode inside of those two keywords, not at the beginning. Okay? Now, let's move to algorithm. We have first to define an algorithm. An algorithm is a step-by-step instruction. An algorithm is a set of rules that is applied and complied with. Right now, when I'm talking to you, I'm an object. As an object, I'm instructed to speak, to talk to you. If I raise up my hand, I'm instructing my body to lift this hand. I can instruct my body to walk. Anything in programming is an object. That object can be oriented. That object can be instructed. Okay? For instance, if you start your car, you will accelerate, you will stop, you will reverse. All these things are the instructions that you are giving to that object. Okay? Those instructions are given step by step. Do you get it? The same way I'm talking to you, looking at you, I can step back, go back. I'm instructing this object to do the move back and forth. Okay? That is an algorithm. A step-by-step instructions given to an object. Okay? Now, this algorithm is based on your pseudocode. If your pseudocode is well designed, your algorithm will be perfect. You cannot establish your algorithm without complying with the logic of pseudocode. That's why in programming logic and design, we are moving step by step. You cannot jump. Make sure that your pseudocode is given in a logical way that leads you to algorithm. Let us try to do this algorithm. You may see that your algorithm is just a representation of your pseudocode. Now, but to differentiate your algorithm from your pseudocode, we represent your algorithm into using diagrams. Okay? Every diagram has its own shape. Pay attention to this. This is very important now. Okay. We've been talking about input, output, and processing. A diagram of an input is a form of parallelogram, which is input looks this way. That is input. It means when you give such an input, you must put your input inside of this diagram. You are not going to give any shape that is different from input, from that shape you see here. That is the shape uniquely for input, which is parallelogram. The second one, output. The output has the same shape as input as well. Third step is about processing. Processing, remember we said calculate, if condition, all these things. Processing, the shape of it is rectangle. If you found an if condition, the shape of if condition looks like diamond. Your if condition, that is if. Remember, when you give an if condition, there is a Boolean statement, either true or false, correct? So when you say yes, you said no, the result will be an output, yes or not? Correct. Now, all these shapes are connected with a flow line or an arrow. You cannot establish all those diagrams without connecting them. They have to be connected and to create that flow. Correct? There is another shape that we skipped about start and stop. start or stop, the shape is this. You have to know all these shapes. Now, when you will be representing your algorithm in terms of flow charts using diagrams, you have to know that you know all these things. Which shape is used for input, which shape is used for output, which shape is used for processing, which shape is used for if condition, and which shape is used for start and stop. Is that clear? Any questions in terms of the shapes? Perfect. You may see here I've provided on how to link those shapes. That's just an example. At my right side, you may see that that is an example of pseudocode, how it is inside of it to avoid indentation error, and how a flowchart algorithm can be represented. It's exactly a pseudocode, but it has been represented as an algorithm step by step, but using diagram flowcharts. Now, for the condition, that's just an example that I've given as well for the condition. So we must create a flowchart of this statement, which is example number 1, correct? What do you see wrong here? Is this flowchart correct? Is this flowchart correct? Good. Let us work on it now. So now, how to do this to fix this error? We go back to our algorithm, to our pseudocode, and we have to design it. Let us design it. Let us design the problem, that algorithm flowchart using diagrams. Okay. We say the start. Start. Is that correct? Start. The second one was what? Set price per apple. It's an input. You said, okay. Per apple assigned to, you repeat exactly your input inside of that input box. Okay? I didn't put input. I put what is input there. Don't come and say, okay, it's an input. You wrote, okay, input. No. You have 0. Okay? The second one is set price per orange. Assigned to what?
65.
Perfect. The third one is what? Set number of apples assigned to 10. Assigned to 10. Another input is
Set number of oranges.
set number of oranges assigned to assigned to 5. Okay? Did you see my inputs? However, my parallelogram is looking like chicken salad. So, I'm done with my input. I have to pass to my processing. From there, can I just continue here? Because I have to continue. I will do this. It's a continuity of it. Which one was the first one? Calculate the total. Calculate the total. You put your calculate, the first one, correct? The second one is what?
Okay, put on oranges first.
All your calculations. How many processing are there? 3. Please ask questions instead of turning average, right? Now, I have 3 processes. I have to represent all of them 3 separately. I'm not going to combine everything in one process. Is that clear? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 inputs. I will put all these inputs step by step. Why? Because this logic will lead me to programming. Okay? If you don't do this logic, this is not your step-by-step algorithm. Okay? So you have to specify everything and to write everything inside. Don't come with one process, you name everything, you have 0. Within business application subject, we don't take 2 steps. Either you do it or you have 0. You do it, you have the max, you don't do it, you have 0. Now, the last one is display. What are we going to display?
Output.
We are displaying the output. The first one display what? We have a display. You write that display that you want to do. You put that. The second one, another display. You display what you have to do. I have 2 displays, right? The last one is stop. This is your algorithm step by step, which is given. With this algorithm, I start with the keyword start, and I end up with the keyword stop. I've specified step by step all my inputs, all my processing, and all my outputs. At the end of it, I stop my algorithm. This algorithm will lead you to programming code. Okay? Because you will be following all these things. Enter this, enter this, enter this, enter this, calculate, 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 display, display, and so on. Okay? This is what in the day 4, that Thursday, we will put in practice this, the code of the first problem that has been solved. Let us discuss briefly how we do coding. But the code, you're not doing code today. Code, we do the coding from Thursday. First of all, you have to know that every language has its own syntax. The syntax is a grammar. Okay? Within Python, we have our own syntax, how to display, how to enter, and so on. Now, as a programmer, the first condition is every statement that you do must have a comment. How we do a comment? A comment in Python is given with an hashtag. That is a comment, which means you are explaining what the next statement will be doing. A comment explains what the next statement will do. Okay? You are giving a comment based on what the statement will be providing as output or entering or processing. For instance, here we said define prices inside, which means the first line we have to define the price. Data received, we are defining the price per airport at 85%, 85 rand, and the price of orange at 65 cents. You may see the second comment I said define quantities. I'm defining the quantities of each product. Then I said, okay, number of oranges is assigned to 10, number of apples assigned to 10, number of oranges assigned to 5. The next comment is about calculating the total cost. I'm trying to explain what the next statement will be doing. These are the calculations. It calculates. So as a programmer, it is compulsory for you when you are doing code to be explaining or making comment for every statement that you do. Why? If you want to send your program or your application to me and I'm sleeping, I don't have to ask you what your program is about. But your program will be talking to me itself, based on the comments that you've given. Your comment will assist me, will lead me, will give me an idea about what to do next and how to do it. Now, this is what we'll be doing this first application on Thursday, but we have already an idea about what we can do. Let us take a break of 15 minutes. We will be back at 1:15. So we'll be doing our second application, the second problem, which is based on, second problem solving. Let us have 15 minutes break. We'll be back at 1:15. Thanks a lot. See you soon again. Focus.
I have a bottle.
Oh, okay.
This one.
Okay. First of all, we say that we have to read the problem. In order to solve it, we come up with inputs and outputs processing table, and we carry out with pseudocode, algorithm, and we apply our code. This is the first example. I want to through alone. The second statement, problem statement, will be working together. I want to see how you perform and so on. Now, the problem solving tool says this. At Paris Brewing Company, the salaries of employees are computed as follows. I'm pretty sure that internally you'll be also reading so that you can understand. The time we start now analyzing the problem, we'll be able, all of us, to participate. Okay? At the Paris Brewing Company, the salaries of employees are computed as follows. A man employee earns a basic salary of 7,000 rand per month. He receives an additional 150 rand for each year of service, an additional 550 if he has a qualification. A 10% tax and 7% pension fund contribution are deducted from his gross salary to determine his net salary. A female employee earns a basic salary of 7,500 per month, an addition of 250 for every year of service, and an additional of 750 if she has a qualification. And 8.5% and 7.5% pension fund contribution are deducted from a salary to determine a net salary. User must provide necessary input values and must use a logical Boolean value for the qualification. Now we are moving from easy things to a little bit complicated things, where we have to understand, we have to come up with Boolean true or false by using if condition. Okay? I will share with you how to solve this problem. First of all, we start with input, processing, output. Remember, this table is not correct. We have to fix it. The table is not correct, is not given in details. Now, the first thing is, what could be as an input here? I put already the input is the gender. Okay? Let us now go deeply by analyzing of the inputs. Are we going to say just gender, or we say enter the gender? Perfect. Input, we have enter the gender, okay? Okay? Which gender are you going to enter as input? Perfect. So male and female are part of input, right?
Yes.
Correct. Okay? Which one is again as input? Let's go. Let's analyze. Look at that. Focus on input. What are you going to enter again? Number of years of services. Correct? Enter, correct. Enter what?
Yes, of services.
Of services, okay. What else? Correct. Enter the qualification. What else?
Salary.
Yes. Salary for who? Correct. Enter the salary. The salary for a man. Let us stick first to man. Now let us analyze. Enter all the values for man. After man, then we'll be entering all the values for female. Remember, we are moving logically. We don't have to enter female, male, female, or something. We start first. We enter the gender. Okay. After that, which gender? Female or male, that's fine. There's a small mistake there. Can you see that? Let us start first logically. Something is wrong again. Can you see that? It can confuse things. The program can be confused. Let us start with one gender at a time. That was said, this is wrong, we have to work together to fix it. Correct?
Yes.
Now let's go. Enter the gender. Which gender are you entering?
Male.
Male. Good. Now start analyzing everything about male now. Let's go. Years of service
Yes.
for the male. We're still on male, right? Enter what?
Years of services.
Perfect. What else are we going to enter again? We still with male. Enter the qualification. What else for the man? Enter the salary. Perfect. What else? Tax deduction. What else? Very good. What else? There's one remaining. You jumped one thing. You jumped bonus. Because if he has a qualification, or if maybe he has more years of qualification services, he has a bonus, right? Enter the bonus. Later put the last one. Correct? That was input for the man. Okay?
Yes.
Now let us create input for the female. It should be exactly the same, but times 2. So this one, we put a female from there, is the same, which means that you have to repeat the same thing for the female. And all this must be in the input. It means step by step, you enter any values, anything for male, anything related to female, you enter all those things, those values. Now we are moving to processing. Let us have a look there at the processing. What's wrong there with men in processing? Let's start first with men. What's wrong with processing? What can we remove? From processing, yes.
Your bonus.
We remove basic salary because already input. What else? All those values that we've entered. 150 years of service. Okay? What we can keep here is only the formula calculation about gross salary assigned to basic plus service bonus plus qualification bonus. Deduction. So what we'll be keeping here is only from gross salary deduction up to the net. Can you see that? Anything that is given as a value, it's an input, it's wrong, cannot be done. I did this on purpose so that you can understand the difference between inputs and processes. Do you get that? Anything related to input must be input. Processes, these are the calculations, formulations, whatever you want to do, if condition and so on. You cannot put input values there. You will be repeating same thing over and over. Okay? Now, the same apply with females. Again, we keep only gross salary formula, qualification formula, deduction formula, net salary formula as well. Is that correct? You have to be writing down, because to be honest with you, your term through will be based on this. Even your lecture will be lecturing these things. Now, the outputs are based on what could be as gross salary that will be converted into rent, what could be the tax amount that will be output, your pension amount, and your net salary converted into rent. Okay? So, let us now try to sit in group of 3 and we do our pseudocode based on input-output processing. Just make 333. I can see you are already in group of 333. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that site. These are 3. You sit your site. I want you to come up with a pseudocode. Remember, with a your pseudocode is based on input, processing, output. The first step is you come up with a title. The second step is make sure that you start with the keyword start and stop, and you put everything by complying with indentation in Python. Let us now create our pseudocode. So make a group of 3-3. We have a 5 minutes maximum to do our pseudocode. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You two. You're like the 2 of you. Okay. Let us try to come up with a pseudocode. Please communicate, collaborate. It's not a test, it's an exchange of ideas. So if all of us were on the same page, we have the same ideas, we do understand all of us the same thing. Particularly you have to communicate 100%. You have to collaborate 100% because our shape is a content for you, lecturing for this time. You should communicate 100% in design that, yeah. Let's go. We have only 5 minutes to go. We need to come up with input processing. Yeah, you can pause. Take your small break. We'll pause for now. Statement. Okay. At the end of that if statement, there is a then. If you don't put this then, your entire if statement you have 0 as a student. Okay. This than is totally different from than of comparison. I'm not talking about THAN of comparison. I'm talking about THEN. Okay. Once you use if statement, at the end of your if statement, a then must be used. That's the first condition for if statement. If you use else if, any conditions within a pseudocode, at the end of it, there is a then. At the end of your if statement, you must close that if statement. An if statement cannot be opened and not be closed. Okay? You open it and you end it. Okay? Now, the difference between else and else if means this. If I say, if the first condition could not give me the expected output, let me try with this one again. That's else if. Else means otherwise. And also which is totally different from the first one. At the end of your pseudocode of if statement, you must close it with an end if. Always when you use if statement in pseudocode, a then must be used at the end of that statement in the same line with it. Okay? Now, we started first with the man is a gender. We said basic salary assigned to 7,000 francs, service bonus is the qualification. This is where we use if statement. We went for female as well. We did the same. At the end of everything, we calculated and we come up with the pseudocode. Now, what you'll be doing right now is another exercise, is to create an algorithm flowchart. Okay? I will be doing myself on the board. You will be doing yourself as a three group. Okay? A group of 3 people. You have to design an algorithm flowchart.
Quick question.
Yes.
Sorry to cut you off. On there, I noticed the first 3 lines that we put. It says input instead of set or enter.
Yeah, you must choose
Does it-
one.
You must choose one.
Yes.
You can use input as well.
You can use any keywords.
Okay.
Either set or enter or input.
Input. Okay.
Choose one. But don't not use all of them at the same time, okay? So, now let us design an algorithm flow chart using diagrams and complying with the flow of diagrams. Yes, sir.
So, is it fine if you put the other if statement indented under it?
Yes. Nested if statement, yes. You can do it. I want to see that into your pseudocode, your algorithm flow chart. Look at me, I don't have it. I will be doing the algorithm flow chart with you here. Okay? There's no algorithm I will be doing. I'm working here on the board. You are working there. I want you to work 3, 3, 3. I'm also doing my algorithm here. So we will compare with your algorithm and my algorithm, flowchart. Okay? This one? It's not on. So when the battery's off, just switch off it, it's fine. Switch off, yeah, it's fine.
You can stop it.
Yeah, just stop. The second one is input years of service. Input years of service. Another one is input as a qualification. Input the qualification, it means enter the qualification. Huh? Input qualification. Correct? Now we start with if statement. I'm here, Now, what could be my if statement? As we don't have a space, I would like to take this if statement to put it here because we have enough space. Okay? I want to do it from here. Then I'll put here if. That's my if statement. What if gender is equal to men? Is that correct? Now, what will happen? Here there's a yes. Here there is a no. Okay. If gender is equal to men, what could be? Basic salary is assigned to 700. It means you have to enter basic salary assigned to 7,000. Okay? You have also service bonus is also assigned. Check that. There's something that is a lushi. Service bonus is assigned to 150 years of 150 times years of service. It's a process there. Can you see that?
Yes.
There's a process. What we'll be doing is, as a process, that block we put it as a process. We say 150 times
Years of service.
years of services. Can you see I put my block here?
Yes.
Another one is qualification bonus if has true or false assigned to 0. Qualification, where we have to enter also in terms of qualification. What I'm going to say here. Qualification bonus assigned to 550. What do you think? If qualification is true, that means we enter how much? It's an input 150. We are in yes. Remember, I'm on yes here. Okay? Now, tax, if it's yes, tax is 0.10.
Don't you have another if?
There's another
No. The tax,
If for
if qualification bonus, if has a
Qualifi-
qualification equal
yeah.
to true, then
Yes.
the condition-
if no, it should be here. We're still on yes side, if side. We are here, on yes side.
what I'm talking
No,
about,
also
true qualification.
qualification bonus, if has a qualification equal to true.
Mm-hmm.
So before we.
Where's that? Yeah, you can be right. Where is it? Qualification bonus assigned to true.
Yes.
Where's that? It's here.
Yes. If has a qualification equal to true, there must be another condition.
There's another condition there. If qualification
Is true?
if it's yes, what it says? 150 rand.
Qualification bonus. We have 550.
550.
550.
Yes. It's an input.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Are we allowed to do the if condition there? Don't we do a curve line then put in the middle?
You're following. The first step is a gender. Yes. After there is another if again.
There's a if inside.
Yeah, there's an if inside of another if. There is, we call it nested if. Okay. So you have to follow exactly how your pseudocode is. Okay? Now, else of qualification is what? If it's no, it's what? What's going to be as an output? What is output? What else? Text. Now, pay attention here. As we are done with the first if, okay? We have to close that first if. Correct?
Yes.
We do, we say, and if that if which is based on qualification, I close that if of qualification. And my programming, my algorithm is still going forward. Okay? Which one is next? Text read. Text read, it enter or display. Text read. Text read assigned to this, assigned to that. It's what? It's a display. Text read. Which one is next?
Pension rate.
What is it? So given 0.7. Okay. Else, if no, the if statement, if no, what will be? Is output. We say this, if gender is male, yes, then 7 of those things. If not, it is 0. Is that correct? Are you there with me?
So isn't it if gender and then the one side is male and then the other side is
No,
female?
no, we're still first in male gender.
I think so. The condition says if gender is male,
Yes, we're still on male gender now.
but not if it's no, then it's
If no, then we'll be doing other gender. Okay? This is just, we'll just put for now. Did you get everything related to male gender? Perfect. Now, if gender is assigned to male, yes. Okay? Else, gender is assigned to female. Else, let's go to else. Okay? Are you sure I have to repeat this? Or I have to rely on that? If gender is equal to F, is that correct? Yes?
I don't think you need that if.
I don't understand.
Do we need another if there?
No.
How do you feel?
So we can close it or
No, we need it. It's an else if. It's an else if. Okay? The first one was for men. The second one is
Oh,
female. Else if. Do you get it? So now we'll be giving options for females. So what are the options for females? Basic salary.
I disagree.
Okay.
Okay, we've already said if gender is male, we go this route, right?
Mhm.
Finish that. But there's only 2 genders, unless you're saying there's a third gender.
Now,
Because
we've only
if there are
two
only
genders.
2 genders, then no means it's female.
No. We've used, check the start, it says if, and second one is else if. We didn't
Oh,
use,
according to that.
yes.
Okay.
We've used, it means,
Maybe I can add something.
mhm,
Yeah, do you know the reason why we say else if? The reason why we say else if? We just imagine that the user types something that is not female or male. What will happen? we need to give an instruction to the user that this is the wrong input. That is the reason why we have to add another option by saying that if the both of them doesn't happen, eventually we cannot calculate the basic salary. We get the point.
Yeah.
That is the reason why we have another else.
Basic salary is assigned to what?
Then we the validation.
7,500.
Yeah, we can just add it.
Is that correct? Bonus, is it a process or input? It's a process. What's the bonus? Bonus, which is 250, which is a process. Qualification, there's a what? There's an if statement there. So what you said, if qualification is what? Is it? If it's true, if it's yes, what will be the input of qualification? Are you paying attention to what's there to tell me? If qualification is true, 750. Where are we? S. It's output, right? Okay.
Like quick question, like instead of like writing yes or no, like also write true or false.
Yes.
Yeah, true or false. This is yes or no. Yeah, that's Boolean. Yeah. So,
Sir,
Hmm?
I have a question. Why
Yeah.
can't we just close this and make a new condition that says out?
we follow. Remember, I mean algorithm, step by step. Your programming will follow this exactly. Okay. Now, what we do here? What is outstanding here? We have to close the if statement. We have to end this if. Is that correct? And what could be output the text? Text is 0 point what? 85. What else again?
Pension rate.
0.75. $75. Now we have to end all these if statements. Which if are we going to end? How are we going to end it? How we end the if statement? There's an if here. There's an if here. Can you see that? The end if will be, there's one which is coming from female side, and if, and one which is coming from male side. We close both big ifs statements. Are you done with me?
Yes, sir.
We are not done yet. We have now to process. Okay? I'm pretty sure you are taking pictures. I'm pretty sure you are writing down.
Wait,
Mr. Steve.
No, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm only avoiding confusion with you. It means this goes that side. Okay? Okay. Let's start with the process. This algorithm only will be maybe out of 70% for term 3. Let's go to process. Now, what is the first thing of process is gross salary. Okay, you know yourself the formula what to put there. The second one is tax. That's a process for tax. We have to write everything for tax. That is a process for pension. You know exactly the formula for pension?
Sir,
Yes.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Because you said with the algorithms, we follow step by step. But with the if statements, we already displayed the tax. So how do we already have the tax, but now we're only calculating the tax?
Yes, the computer system processes first. We process all these things. We cannot put this before it because we start with the statement started with if. You have to select either man or female. Once you select that, automatically with your code, it will go to processes. And it processes outcome for female or for the man. But your structure is been given this way. Now, when you are doing your code, the computer itself knows already, okay, you enter gender as a female into the system already, it gives that. Because we've assigned already we've given a constant amount to both genders. Now, if I have it like an application, you are working for me, you're a female, I just click gender female, immediately, it gives me your salary immediately. I just enter things because I've already constant amounts that I've given already for everybody. It has been given here, all the constant amounts. So it will process immediately, it's an application. Look at it here. This is what we'll be doing on Thursday, Friday, and so on. Start coding, doing all these applications. Okay. Oh, are we done? No. Pension was that. Net salary. What else? Display. Can you see about the display? How the display is at the end? We do what? We stop. Done. That is our algorithm. This algorithm has been represented in terms of flowcharts. We start from start. You input gender. Yes, if your input goes that to a man, now it will ask you to put years of service. If you put 2 years, it will ask you to enter the qualification of that man. You say maybe masters. Immediately it will calculate everything. It gives you a tax rate and everything. Now, if you said, okay, you put input gender, you put female, the program will calculate immediately because the program for female has been given here. It will process ready, it gives you, it will display the output here. Do you get? So you are playing around on here. It will be an application that will GUI. Enter, it will ask you, enter the gender. You put M, it knows whether M is a man, boom, everything down. Enter gender. You set a female, enter the qualification, number of this. Based on what you enter here, the process will be, everything will be processed within the computer system, this application. Yes, sir.
So with the else if statement, we don't make another else, we just list it in the other if statement.
Okay, my colleague said that the else if statement is if previous one you couldn't get, let us try with this. You get it? The first one you try man, they give you output. Okay, let me try now with female, that else if. Else if I put female, what could be the outcome? The first one I try with men. Okay, this is the output about men. Good. As if I try with female, what could be also the outcome of it? Do you get it? So you've been asked only for 2 genders here. Assume that you come up with the 3rd gender. Then up to you again. Okay? That was a big one, eh? It's very neat. Good. So this subject is the most complicated subject, most confusing subject, because it includes 3 different subjects at a time: algorithm, programming, and logic. With the knowledge of this subject, you can use any programming language: Java, Python, C++, C#, COBOL, whatever. Okay? You can use. So you don't even have to create an algorithm. You can even this algorithm give your own name. You give your own name. Okay?
Sorry, just a question.
Yes.
On the second,
Yes.
if is it okay to leave it without hope? Because it's like incomplete in that we have said yes, but where is the no? Should you say no and then stop, or
No, but
and then?
If you said yes, if this, it means it's no. It's already no there. There's nothing there. There's output.
We don't display a message.
We-
And
yeah.
delete gender type.
So it means else means otherwise. So that's why here a student can do this or leave it. It doesn't matter, because we know already there's nothing that we went on this. Because with this again, we could be trying to do this and to close this and if as well. We can do, if you put no there, then we have to go and close again this and if. From here we close it as well. If I put this no, so I have to close this where this and if. I have to close it that way as well. If I put that no. Okay? You may see that it will start confusing more. So to avoid any confusion, because we know already no is not applied here, then we just leave it that way.
So
Yes.
if there was a 3rd gender, then would we use the no so for that side?
If there's a 3rd gender, you will be entering gender here. Then we will come here, that is a yes, right? Otherwise, a 3rd gender, assume that you have another gender here, yes, no, you put another gender. Conditions also will be applied. Remember, we've not given the conditions for that. What could be for the 3rd gender? What will be the salary, qualification, all those things? That means into the system we have to set up all the input values for 3rd gender before entering it. You cannot just enter 3rd gender if you don't have the setup down. Because you'll ask you, input the gender, you put maybe X, okay? Number of services and qualification. The output will be 0 because we don't have any value provided for the 3rd gender. So in order to put a 3rd gender, we must provide also all the sets, all the inputs for that 3rd gender. Say that all. 3rd gender which is assigned to X, number of years, this and this and this and this and this.
So if we were given like values for 3rd gender, would we put it there by that no?
Yes, yes. You just follow the same thing. If it's no, if it's not that, you come again to no here. You carry it for another if statement beside. Then it will take another if statement here. If it's a 3rd gender, which is X, yes.
So would we then need another if statement? So if I can
The
only-
same way you've worked with this, with the if statement, it will be the same way you do the 3rd gender as well. The same way you've done with this, and that will be the same way you will do 3rd gender. Yes. Yes, someone has a question? Yes, sir.
And so, I'm just asking for future purposes, will we add a loop to this to like pass the gender multiple times? So how would that look?
You want to come up with a loop. You can use a for loop. Then in programming, now you are putting me to programming right now, which is not the content for rights. We say that for X in gender, okay? Or we can use while loop.
Wow.
Okay, we can just say that first we initiate I assigned to 0, okay, while I less than the length, okay? That length, remember in a platform length we put length, okay? That we put here, which is I here, then we said print, we print the length of I, okay? We print that, then we say I assigned to I plus 1, which means we are increasing. Do you hear that? We can use one loop there, and then it will be asking all the time the gender, enter such a gender. Yeah, preferably you can use one loop, then be increasing all the time. Just do, you can use as a for loop also, because we have two loops that you can use in Python for one loop. Okay.
So I want to say, if for example we
Yeah.
have to say no, and we close like the whole thing without that if, can we just start a new if condition?
If what?
Like the no, like the way we inserted all of that, if we had to remove it, and we just in if and we start another condition that says and if, can you do that?
Remember you set up already two genders there, okay? If you enter another gender called X, which is no, and that gender is not into your program, if you say no output for the requested gender, that is X, which is automatically coming, which is missing here.
So I can't add another condition saying else if.
You can add unless you specify it here. Remember what we said, you have to identify it, okay? In the code where we said here, you have to define. Let me see how to define it. First, you have to define gender assigned to male, okay? Gender assigned to female, gender assigned to X. Do you get that? Now, if before coming up to gender, you have to define it first, okay? You say, okay, gender assigned to male, assigned to female, assigned to X. You've defined it already. Then you assign all those values. Like here, if it is assigned to man, everything. And if it is assigned to female, and if it is assigned to X, do you get that? Everything is here in the program already. Okay?
So
X invalid. If you put something outside of these two, it will give you invalid. You can written that. Can you see that? Return invalid gender input. Try again. Because you've used only two genders. If you want to use a third gender, you must follow the same route again. Exactly as you've done the first one. Yeah.
So can I close it and then assign a new gender and a new condition?
Yes. That's why you're a programmer. You'll be thinking out of the box. You can extend this to many genders as much as you can. This is where I want to see your creativity. So a lecture can go up to a certain extent. You can develop it the way you want. My point is, I'm opening the door for you, but yourself, you have the key about your future. So you can develop this application the way you want, okay? You can develop it, you can do whatever, you can put thousands of genders, and so on. You don't have to discriminate genders by two. Other people also are categorizing themselves also in other ways. Okay? So you have to do it the way you want. It's up to you. We are not going to limit the genders. It's just an example given about female and male. You want to add any genders, it's up to you. We are not restricting people. We are not stopping people to be who they want to be. They are free. Okay? And you are free also from developing anything. Okay. Question? About this?
Yes, sir. For the code, so when you want user input, so like for them to enter years of service, so where would that go, sir?
Based on your pseudocode, which is there, you can start doing all those things. Enter, enter, enter. They are there. You have to put it. You can see my code, I just start from input. But you have really knowledge. You cannot just come up something not entering. It says input here. Do you get that? Enter the gender. But first, before inputting the gender, you must define the gender. You define as it has been defined here or identified, okay? Define the genders here. You define gender X assigned to this, assigned to that, and so on. Tomorrow we'll be doing more complicated problem statement as well. Yeah, yes.
So the code, instead of having one defined function, is it fine if you use modularization, so you break it up into pieces?
Yes. That's what programming is about. Can you see I didn't give all the details about entering? Did you see anything about entering there? No. I gave you only a route where to come. But you can develop it already. Not what is missing here is the entering or a statement. This is what is missing. The statement for input gender, input this. You can create that. This is what is missing in this code. So once you do that code, remember we have a function here. In Python, a function is defined with a keyword def. And now you give the name of that function. The name of it is calculate salary. We have gender, years of service, and qualification. This you have to determine the variables that will be entered. Okay? At the end of the function, there is a column. If the column is not used at the end of the function, you run with error. Other programming languages are using curly brackets, but as with Python, we are using column. This is what man said, asked me a question of how to identify an error. In Python, we press it once. Once I'm inside of this program, I have to press my tab once. Look at this. For instance here, that was a while loop or something like that. I'm here. That is a while loop that you ask a question. Assume that I do it in this way. Okay? What could be as my output? It gives me an error. Can you see error there? How to identify error? If you check down there, they will show you, they say on P. Can you see here? It says it on P. Can you see my cursor there? It shows you a sign where error is. Okay? That means it requires you have indentation error. It says here, indentation error. How to avoid indentation error? You press once your tab. You see that? I press once my tab and I go again and run it. Now it's still giving me again. You don't have in Python or program, you don't panic if you get errors. We deal with errors. It's normal to have errors. However, you have errors doesn't mean you're not a programmer. A good programmer must make errors and learn from his or her own errors. Okay? Now, you have to redo that stuff again properly so that the error must go away until you see to you run it. The point is, you do panic when you found errors. You don't panic. I love when I'm making errors in programming because I will learn. Without making errors, I could not know that, okay, what is indentation error. Okay? And when you make errors or things like that, you are learning from it and you discover even where you can and how to fix it. Okay? There are many things like an if statement, which is here. Check the example which is here. So it says A is assigned to 33, B assigned to 200. So I've defined already these two variables. I've assigned certain values to these variables, variable A and variable B. Now I want to compare these two variables by saying that if B is greater than A, when you use if statement, at the end of it there is also a column. Remember in pseudocode, we've represented that column by using then. Do you remember?
Yes.
We've used then. But when we are coding, we are not putting that then, we put what? Column. Can you see that? And then to output anything, we output it with the keyword print. We'll go through all these things when we finish. For today, this is what is, thank you. We've planned, ask me any questions in terms of these two problem statements how to solve. I want to do a resume of everything or introspection about everything that we went through today. Questions? Good. Now we are going through a resume of what we said. We said that from the beginning, there's, switch on light please. We came up with a concept of a problem. A problem is anything. Your business idea, anything that you want to do, you want to find a solution. A problem is anything that you are looking for a solution to it. In order to solve that problem, you must ask a question, what is the problem? A question of what is to identify something. A question of how is to understand what's going on. Okay? Now, in order to come up with these two questions, you must read carefully your statement. You read minimum 3 times, maximum 6 times. It's up to you. You start now extracting specific keys. Those keys, you put them into your input processing output. Your input, you write down in details all your input. All your input in details. We said that the input have 3 keywords such as enter or input or set. Is that correct? Then anything that in your input, you put that. Processes. We say that processes have also certain keywords such as calculate, determine, if statement, adding all those calculations that you know, multiplication, division, subtraction, and so on, are part of your processes. Correct?
Yes.
And if statement part of processes, the output is just the end result. Your output is your display. That's a keyword given. Display. Now, your IPO table will lead you to pseudocode. Now we say we've defined a pseudocode as English way of writing a plain text, but respecting and complying with the logic of your process. Your pseudocode, you write it in your English word by following the logic, the sequence of your statement. Your pseudocode starts with a title, and that title, you write the title, and at the end of the title, you put a column. Secondly, your pseudocode starts with a keyword start, and the last one we have stop. When you are writing your pseudocode, you have to make sure that your contents are inside of these 2 keywords. If you use if statement, at the end of your if statement, you must use the keyword then. At the end of your if statement, you must close that if statement within your pseudocode. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, your pseudocode will lead you to algorithm. What is an algorithm? We say that an algorithm is a step-by-step instructions that are given. They are a set of rules and you have to comply with. An algorithm giving you instructions, that means I'm instructing myself as an object to walk, to eat, to run. I've given an example of a car, driving a car, doing whatever. You are instructing things, but your instructions are working based on logic, based on sequence. Your pseudocode is giving you a way to create an algorithm. Now, to differentiate your algorithm from your pseudocode, we are representing our algorithm using flowchart diagrams. Each diagram has its own shape and looks different from others. A diagram, a shape of input is used using the shape of parallelogram, which is here for input. The shape of output uses also parallelogram, looks as input. The shape of process uses rectangle. All your processes. When you are working with processes, make sure that you specify all your processes, because your algorithm, we want to see things step by step. Do not put all your processes in one box and you say that, oh, I've done it. Your lecture will give you 0. Okay? Now, when you do your if statement, at the end of your if statement into your algorithm flowchart, by connecting it with the arrows, you may see I've applied my arrows, flows. And then if statement, we have to close it. Any if statement that you do, you have to close it. Now, at the end of your algorithm, you come up with a stop as well. Now, you'll be going to Python application. A Python application is 100% what you've done into your algorithm. Your algorithm gives you a way on how to do your Python code. Now, what you do, you start with input gender. That means you have first of all to define those variables before inputting them. An application using Python, always we start with comment. Why we said comment? Comment will explain, will tell me what your application does or has to do. I will learn from your comments. A comment in Python will start with hashtag. Comments can be either on top of the statement or next to the statement. You may see here, I've given the comment in green on top of the statement, which is, I'm talking about if statement. Okay? Now, every statement that you are doing can be explained and using those ones. You can see that that programming, it's telling me if I want to do processes, the comment will tell me exactly what's going on there. Okay? So then you have to create, with Python by the way, you can just create an application using a method. A method will start with def keyword, and then you create things that can be run. You can create your class. We'll be discussing about how to create a class within Python, how to create a method. We'll be doing all those things this week. And how to avoid errors, as we went through a little bit here by saying that indentation is the biggest error. Do not panic if you make a mistake. We are learning from mistakes. It's good to make a mistake. Sometimes we can do make mistakes voluntarily just to learn on how to fix it. If you don't know how to fix errors, you don't know, you're not a programmer. If you do not make mistakes, you're not a programmer. Okay? Make mistakes, make errors, and fix those errors, learn from those errors, and you'll be good. Okay? So, this is what we went through today. This content again will be, this is what we'll be going through for term 3 with you, because next year, those who are going to be doing second year and third year, you will be only given your lectures, will be given to you statement and saying to you, okay, take the statement, I want you to solve the problem. I want to see your inputs, processes, output. I want to see, we call it, I want to see your table of IPO. I want to see your pseudocode. I want to see your algorithm. I want to see the code. Beside the code, I want to see your application running. Done. Your lecturer doesn't have to spend time in the class. Well, he's getting paid for that. And yourself already, I'll start already preparing you for that. And then when there will be a class start, they will be telling you the same thing. So you don't have to be sitting in class with the lecturer. He tells you what to do, you go there, he says, okay, you come in a week, you give me the outcome, you work as a group, you develop your application, and then you explain your everything, done. So you don't have to memorize code, you have to apply the knowledge. The purpose of this program is you to understand and you to practice it, but not to memorize the code, not to memorize the things, okay? Tomorrow we will be doing the problem solving 3, that will be more complicated as well. Bit chilly more than what we went through right now. Yeah, please practice, go through what we went through today. It's intense work, yes I know, but will be in advance compared to those one are not going to be, well, those one not here today. However, I'm not going to upload this up today or tomorrow. I will upload on YouTube later on, maybe next week.
So, can you show us the scenario of the main
Which scenario?
the problem 2?
2.
Yeah, this one.
I want you to go homework, to go of this. Don't look at what you took as a picture here. Try to work it on yourself. Just work yourself. And check what you've done compared to what you went through, where you made a mistake, and fix it again by yourself. Go back again on problem solving 1. Okay? Problem solving 1 doesn't have any if statements. You have to do it, which is there. So those strings, the same thing I said, I worked for my PhD, is the same. You can come with your algorithm to create a correlation between different factors and then to come up with specific outputs. And you just say to yourself, what could be as equation in order this algorithm to work with a specific loop and all the time to be working automatically like all those existing algorithms. It's a way of thinking out of the box. You have to be creative. Do not compete with anybody, but compete with yourself. Because if you compete with anybody, all of us will create differently. Maybe I learn slowly, you learn faster than me. But if I compete with you, I will never achieve. But if I compete with myself by saying that tonight, I have to go through what we went, I will be the best version of you yesterday. So this is what I want from you, to be the best version of yourself. Not to compete with anybody. Life is not about competition. Life is about saying that I have to make it this way. Why not me? Remember, we have choices. Certain choices can lead you to chaos. Certain choices can lead you to success. Remember, a choice is just a decision. Everything we do in programming is based on decision. That decision can be either you use cases or you use if statement. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
So, you want to come up to move from point A to point B, do it on your own way. There is no one way for programming. You get it? There is no one way. You can come up as long as the output displays the same thing. You made it. You can code in your own way, but the expected output must be the same. Assume that you've created your own algorithm to be scanning people's faces before entering this venue. You come up with your code, you come up with your own formula. As long as you put your face on the scan device, the door opens and you get inside. Okay? And the output is to get inside, is it?
Yes.
This is it. You come with your own code, I come with my own code, I don't care about your code, you don't care about my code. As long as we have the same output, the door opens. This is what has been required. This is what I'm asking you tonight, not to be lazy, just to go through that. I wish you good luck and thank you for attending. There's an attendance here. Please sign. Those who are not here, just write your name if you